The first red flag wasn't Ethan's smug little smirk. It was the fact that the email summoned her to the HR office at 7:58 a.m. with no subject line and the word ASAP typed in all caps like a panicked toddler trying to play grown-up. Dana hadn't even finished her second coffee when she walked in and saw the kid already perched in her usual chair like he owned the air in the room. Ethan Langford, all 28 years of entitlement, squeezed into a slim-fit blazer and overpriced haircut, didn't even look up when she entered. Just tapped a pen against his teeth like he was waiting for Postmates. Not about to gut the heart of the company. Asterisk Dana, asterisk he said. Drawing out the asterisk like it offended him. Asterisk thanks for coming in early. We'll keep this brief. Asterisk HR rep sat tight in the corner like a hostage. No eye contact. That's when Dana knew she didn't need the speech. Of course, Ethan gave it anyway. Asterisk after reviewing departmental efficiencies, asterisk he began, using a phrase he definitely read off LinkedIn that morning. Asterisk we've concluded your role has become non-essential. We're streamlining legacy costs and bringing in fresh perspectives. Effective immediately, you're relieved of your duties. That asterisk he actually smiled, like he just solved world hunger by axing the woman who kept this entire logistics operation from collapsing into flaming chaos. Dana didn't flinch. No begging. No angry monologue. She just adjusted her blazer, slid the company-issued laptop across the table like she was handing him a dead goldfish, and stood. Asterisk streamline this, asterisk she muttered, inaudible, just for her, and walked out with more grace than he'd ever earn. It's funny. You work somewhere for 15 years, bleed into the cracks of its foundation, clean up its messes, save its ass during every merger panic. One kid with a business degree and daddy's password can erase you before 9 a.m. And hey, before I forget, if you've ever been kicked in the teeth by some Ethan in your life and kept walking, help me hit my first ever 10,000 subscribers. You'd be surprised what kind of revenge we can cook up with just a story and a little support. Back in her office, well, former office, Dana grabbed her box of things. Photos of her dogs, framed quote from her mother. Asterisk don't get even. Get everything. Asterisk and a flash drive taped under the drawer with a label that just read asterisk clause 12C star. She didn't cry, didn't cuss, just walked out through the same glass door she'd opened every morning for a decade and a half. But this time, she didn't badge out. She paused, smiled at the receptionist, and said, asterisk don't bother disabling my login just yet. Asterisk the kid thought he'd cut the head off a relic. Didn't know he just unplugged the power source. The box was still warm from the car ride home, rattling softly as Dana set it down in her dining room, right next to the half-dead orchid and the unopened bottle of Merlot she'd been saving for a win. This wasn't the win she had in mind, but it would do. She didn't go for the wine. Not yet. Instead, she crossed the living room to a tall, nondescript cabinet no one but her had ever opened. She slid the panel to the side, keyed in a 6-digit code that hadn't changed in 15 years, and waited for the mechanical click. The drawer inside groaned open like it hadn't been touched in a decade, which was only partially true. The documents inside were pristine, archived like sacred scrolls. She flipped past old W2S, 2 performance reviews from a VP that cried when he got laid off, and a sealed envelope labeled asterisk Langford Original Star. Inside was the contract. Back when this company was one bad quarter away from bankruptcy, Dana hadn't just stepped up. She rebuilt half their back-end operations from scratch. Wrote the automation logic for their freight routing system in her own damn living room while eating cold Chinese takeout and dodging creditors. She hadn't asked for a bonus. She'd asked for something smarter. And Ethan's father, Harold Langford, the real CEO, not the sperm donor in a suit she'd met this morning, was smart enough to give it to her. Clause 12C. It didn't look like much on paper. 3 paragraphs buried between arbitration procedures and standard non-disclosures. But Dana remembered every word. IP rights to any custom software she authored on her own equipment. A 2.5% equity stake if the company hit a certain revenue threshold, which it had 3 years ago, with no payout. The kicker: all executive restructuring decisions must be approved by her signature if she was employed at the time and if her systems were still in use. Check and check. She didn't rage. She didn't pace. She just pulled out her phone, opened the scanner app, and got to work. Scan, save, encrypt. 1 copy to her personal inbox, 1 to her employment attorney who'd helped her write the damn clause, and 1 to Janice Mororo, board member since year 7, who once told Dana over crab cakes, *, if the boys ever turn on you, send me proof, and I'll handle the knives. * By the time the attachments hit her sent folder, Dana was already drafting a bullet point summary of current systems running on Langston Freight Protocol, her original codebase. It was still in use. She knew that without checking. They'd only just renamed it *Ethan Ops* a year ago. Like that could erase her fingerprints from the code. She closed the cabinet, locked it again, and took the Merlot from the table, poured herself half a glass. She didn't toast, she calculated. Tomorrow wouldn't be about proving Ethan wrong. It would be about making the entire board remember why she was never someone you could just streamline. Harold Langford returned to the office on a dreary Tuesday with a stitched-up gut, a short fuse, and the creeping realization that leaving his son in charge for even a week was like handing a toddler a chainsaw and hoping for lawn art. His assistant, Rhonda, stone-faced, 65, and terrifying, met him at the elevator with a stack of papers and a post-it note that simply said, *You'll want coffee first*. The moment he stepped into his office, he saw it. Dana's scanned contract, printed in triplicate, neatly clipped and placed dead center on his mahogany desk like a legal landmine. His heart sank before he even read the header. Clause 12C was circled in red. There was a brief flicker of hope. Maybe it was a misunderstanding. Maybe she was just making noise, trying to leverage sympathy on her way out. But then he saw the signature at the bottom. His signature, notarized. The date matched the week after their distribution center crash. Dana had pulled the entire company out of the flames with a system she built on a laptop older than Ethan's last girlfriend. He sank into his chair, stomach knotting again, but this time not from surgery. *Rhonda*, he said. She poked her head in. Already texted him. His coming. Harold didn't say thank you. He just rubbed his temples and stared at the clause again, reading it like it was a death sentence he'd written himself. And maybe it was. A knock. Ethan breezed in, all swagger and Spotify confidence. *Welcome back, old man. Glad to see you survived. Harold didn't look up. *Did you fire Dana Langston? Yeah, don't worry. Totally legit. HR signed off. Her role's ancient, and frankly, she was kind of dead weight. Ethan plopped into the guest chair, leg bouncing. You're always saying we need to cut costs. Well, I cut. Harold looked up slowly, eyes narrowing. Did you read her contract before you did it? Ethan shrugged. What for? It's like 100 pages of boomer legalese. She's bluffing. I mean, she emailed the board with some old PDF, probably hoping for a payout. Bitter ex-employee move. Harold slid the papers across the desk. Ethan picked them up like he was being handed a menu. Clause 12, paragraph C. Harold said, voice dry as sand. She has veto rights over structural changes, including terminations. And if her software is still being used, which it is, firing her without board review constitutes a breach. Ethan blinked. Wait, what? That can't be real. That's insane. Why would you give her that? Because 15 years ago, your father was bleeding money, and Dana wrote a logistics system that saved this company from folding like a damn lawn chair in a hurricane. Harold snapped. That clause is real. So is the equity. So is the IP. And if she presses this, she doesn't just get her job back. She owns part of your job now. Ethan paled. But I already filed the termination. Her severance is processed. Then you better pray she doesn't cash it. For the first time since Ethan strutted into the role like it was gifted to him in a Happy Meal, Harold saw something crack. That twitch behind the eyes. The sound of wheels turning, slow, rusty, and terrified. Harold leaned back, exhaled through his nose. Dana doesn't make noise unless she's already pulled the trigger. If she's contacted Janice Mororo, he let that hang. They both knew Janice didn't play. The silence that followed was thick. Ethan stood, fists clenching and unclenching, the reality finally dripping through the holes in his designer armor. Harold tapped the contract. Asterisk, you didn't fire an employee, Ethan. You declared war on the wrong goddamn general. Asterisk, it started small. The kind of hiccups nobody notices until they stack like dirty dishes in a bachelor's sink. On Wednesday, a freight order to Milwaukee didn't show. The client called twice, furious by the third ring. Thursday, 2 invoices went missing in the system, just vanished like they'd never existed. Friday, the West Hub routed a shipment of car batteries to Vermont instead of Virginia, costing the company $6,000 in rush corrections and an apology email that read like it had been written by a sleep-deprived intern with a concussion. Each incident, on its own, manageable. But together, they were the exact kind of paper cuts Dana had spent 15 years cauterizing before anyone felt a sting. Now they bled freely. Meanwhile, the office buzzed with that sick little energy that comes when a storm's coming and you don't know who packed an umbrella. Dana's name wasn't spoken loudly, but it was everywhere. In the break room, in Slack threads disguised as memes, in whispers over frozen lean cuisines and passive-aggressive post-its. Asterisk, did you see the clause? Asterisk, someone murmured by the printer. Asterisk, she had IP rights or something, right? That's, like, serious. Asterisk, asterisk, I heard she emailed the board before she even left the parking lot. Asterisk, asterisk, wait, Ethan fired her? That little golem. My cousin's in legal. Said it might breach contract. Like, breach. Asterisk, Janice Maroro didn't respond to gossip. She didn't have to. The mere fact that she hadn't publicly defended Ethan said enough. People noticed. People always noticed when Janice went quiet, like the forest right before a cougar jumps. And then came the kicker. It was Jamie, junior dev turned systems analyst, soft-spoken, smarter than he let on, and terrified of confrontation. He'd been tasked with reviewing internal code dependencies before their next warehouse software update. 2 hours into the audit, he found it. A line of code inside their automated load balancing script, adapted from original LFP, Langston Freight Protocol. Asterisk, copyright Langston, asterisk, he stared at it for a solid minute, then searched the dev logs. She hadn't just written the original structure. Her protocols asterisk were asterisk the structure. Repackaged, renamed, sure, but the skeleton, the DNA of that beast humming in their logistics chain, all hers. Jamie did what any smart junior did in a corporate horror movie. He quietly screenshotted everything. Zipped it in a folder labeled asterisk just in case star. Slipped the printout onto his manager's desk with a sticky note that said, asterisk, think we owe Dana royalties, asterisk. That sticky note made it 3 desks over by lunch. HR saw it by 3 p.m. legal by 5. By Monday, Harold's inbox had 15 different threads with the subject line asterisk urgent. Langston IP right star. Dana never said a word, never tweeted, never posted some vague asterisk God closes a door asterisk status on LinkedIn. She didn't have to. Absence was its own form of presence, like a missing beam in a house you thought was sound until the roof sagged. No tantrums, no threats, just quiet chaos. And somewhere behind all those flickering monitors and stressed-out middle managers praying Ethan didn't call another town hall, one truth became colder than fact. Dana Langston wasn't just a former employee. She was now a loaded gun the company had tossed onto the boardroom table and dared not pick up. Subject line, asterisk notice of contract breach. Clause 12C IP ownership review asterisk, sent at 6:02 a.m. Just as the building lights flickered on and half the staff still had pillow creases on their cheeks. Dana's timing was always surgical. The email was short, 5 paragraphs, 0 fluff, no angry language, no frothing demands, just precision. Asterisk, dear board members, on termination date, I was informed, without prior board consultation or approval, that my role had been eliminated. As outlined in my employment contract, Clause 12C, such restructuring actions are subject to approval due to active deployment of Langston Freight Protocol, LFP, architecture and associated IP. This termination occurred while said systems remained in core operational use and without formal consent. For your reference, I've attached documentation of IP contributions, active code fragments still in live deployment, and a signed copy of the original agreement. While I trust this was an administrative oversight, The legal implications of breach and royalty delinquency compel clarification. I remain available for resolution discussions. Attachments: Langston_original_contract.pdf, LFP_overview.pdf, freight_ops_code_excerpt xlsx. She CC'd no one from HR, no one from Ethan's team, just the board. Then she stood up from her kitchen table, poured herself the last of the Merlot, and started making her avocado toast like it was any other day. Because for Dana, it was. This was routine. This was what happened when someone mistook silence for surrender. By 8 a.m., the replies began. The first was from Marta Dewey, compliance watchdog and notorious hawk. 4 words: "When are you available?" The second from Janice Maroro. "We need to talk soon." At 8:37 a.m., someone blind copied her an internal thread titled "Urgent. Review termination protocols plus royalty risk exposure star." Dana didn't reply. She didn't have to. She knew what would happen next. She counted on it. At 9:10 a.m., a quiet panic swept through the top floor. Boardroom doors closed early. Schedules cleared. Someone cancelled Ethan's 10 a.m. vision for the future webinar without telling him. Harold Langford walked in with a manila folder and a look that said, "I'm about to eat my own mistakes." Legal had already started pulling documentation, reviewing every signature Ethan had scrawled since Dana walked out. NDA updates, vendor renewals, a new partnership with a supply chain analytics firm built on software still running Langston's code. And that's when they saw it. Not only had Dana been fired without board consent, Ethan had greenlit a system overhaul that quietly duplicated her original framework without compensation or attribution. The term willful infringement began floating between inboxes. So did malicious restructuring star. One attorney even wrote the phrase, "She's not just owed back pay. She may be owed equity corrections retroactively." Outside the glass walls, Ethan smiled for some social media intern's photo op about innovation culture. Inside, a different kind of innovation was unfolding. An unscheduled audit, a flurry of legal memos, and the first whispers of board-level dissatisfaction no PR filter could fix. Dana still hadn't replied, because power doesn't knock twice. It lets itself in when you least expect it, wearing silence like a suit and holding receipts sharp enough to cut careers in half. Ethan found out about the private board session the same way he found out about most things lately. By being the last to know in a building his father still technically owned. He'd strolled into the executive lounge mid-morning, caramel oat milk latte in one hand, phone in the other, flipping through LinkedIn influencers like they were fortune cookies. That's when he saw it. Janice Maroro walking into conference room B with Harold, Marta, and the entire legal team in tow. No invite, no heads up, no courtesy loop you an from Rhonda, who always used to greet him like royalty. She walked right past him this time, with a folder marked Langston IP clause 12 star. Something inside Ethan shifted. A flicker of something unfamiliar, just beneath the teeth-grinding arrogance. It was cold, wet, panic-shaped. He power-walked back to his office, slammed the door harder than he meant to, and dialed Dana's number. Ring, ring. Voicemail. He tried again. Straight to voicemail. Left a message this time. Hey, Dana. I think we maybe got off on the wrong foot. Just wanted to talk, maybe figure this out privately. Call me back, okay? Even he didn't believe it. His voice cracked halfway through privately star. 15 minutes later, a reply arrived. Not from Dana, but from her old autoresponder, still set up on her personal Gmail. Thank you for your message. I'm currently unavailable. If this is urgent, please contact someone who didn't call me non-essential. Ethan slammed his phone down, knocked over a glass paperweight, shattering it into jagged little reminders that he was, in fact, not in control. Then came the final nail. He stormed down to DevOps, breathing like a cartoon bull, demanding Jamie, the junior analyst who'd uncovered the code tags, show me the damn system logs. Jamie, mid-diet Pepsi and visibly shaking, opened a terminal and pulled up the live ops script. Ethan stared at line after line of code, not really understanding what he was seeing, until Jamie highlighted a tag, Asterisk copyright D. Langston, LFP Core Logic version 2.4, do not modify without legal clearance. Asterisk and below that. Asterisk use of this software without licensing agreement constitutes breach of IP ownership terms. Asterisk it was baked in. Not just one tag. Hundreds. Watermarked metadata, nested code, version logs, all of it traceable. Dana hadn't just built the system. She'd branded it like cattle. Quiet, legal, unforgiving. Asterisk what if we, rewrote the code? Asterisk Ethan asked, lips twitching. Asterisk I mean, just reformat it. Strip her tags. Quick fix. Asterisk Jamie blinked, frozen mid-keystroke. Asterisk sir. That's fraud. Asterisk asterisk who said anything about fraud? I'm just saying we modernize, okay? Get creative. Maybe with a bonus. Asterisk Ethan tossed out the word like he'd seen it in a movie where bribes worked. Jamie's silence was louder than any whistle. By 4 p.m., Jamie had emailed HR, CC'd legal, and attached a transcript of Ethan's asterisk modernization asterisk idea with one simple line at the top. Asterisk this made me uncomfortable. Please advise. Asterisk it didn't take long for that to reach Janice or Harold or the board session Ethan still hadn't been invited to. By 5:15 p.m., Ethan's key card had been quietly downgraded. Not revoked. Just adjusted. He didn't notice yet, but he would, because desperation smells like fear. And fear, when it starts to rot, draws attention. The kind that eats empires. Harold didn't knock. He stood outside Dana's front door longer than any self-respecting CEO should, holding a manila folder like it was a hostage ransom. Dressed not in the crisp suit he wore to battle investors, but in slacks and a windbreaker, like a man who knew this wasn't business anymore. It was clean up. Dana opened the door slow. No smile, no welcome. Just that surgical stillness she wore like armor. Asterisk 5 minutes, asterisk Harold said. Asterisk then I'll go. Asterisk she let him in without a word. The house was the same as he remembered. Clean lines, muted tones, nothing flashy, except the dining table, spread with neatly stacked legal docs, case studies, a framed photo of her and her dogs at a beach, and a yellow legal pad covered in handwritten bullet points that looked less like notes and more like a war map. She didn't offer coffee. He didn't ask. Asterisk I was wrong. Asterisk Harold started, eyes low. Asterisk I never should have let him near that seat. I thought giving him a taste would scare him straight. Humble him. I didn't think he'd gut the company. Asterisk Dana finished, voice flat. Asterisk or destroy the one person who kept it from collapsing 10 times over. Asterisk yeah, that too. Asterisk silence. Dana didn't blink, didn't sigh, just reached down and slid a folder across the table. Asterisk reinstatement offer. Asterisk she said. Asterisk effective immediately. Back pay for 6 months. Retroactive equity adjustment to reflect the performance milestones hit using my IP. And a 2-year licensing contract for all current and derivative systems under my terms. Asterisk Harold didn't open it. He just stared at it like it was a loaded pistol. Asterisk if you don't sign it. Asterisk Dana continued. Asterisk I'll walk into Carrington Freight's office tomorrow at 9 a.m. I've already had coffee with their CTO. He knows what I built, knows what I still own, and is very interested in acquiring licensing rights. Especially now that we both know your board is legally exposed. Asterisk you'd burn it all? Asterisk Harold asked, voice soft, almost pleading. She tilted her head. Asterisk no. I'd simply charge what it's worth. Asterisk it hit him then. Dana hadn't come for revenge. She'd come for balance, for order, for respect. And she'd built her case brick by brick with the same precision she used to rewire his freight network during the '08 collapse. Asterisk you don't want the rollback? Asterisk he asked, cautious. Asterisk no. Asterisk she said. Asterisk not like it was. But I'll take something better, something cleaner. Asterisk he nodded, hands trembling slightly as he reached for a pen. Asterisk I'll handle Ethan. Asterisk Harold said, almost to himself. Asterisk is still my son, but I. Asterisk Dana held up a hand, calm, icy. Asterisk no. Let him face the board first. Asterisk she leaned back, expression unreadable. Asterisk let him learn what it feels like to be declared non-essential by people who actually read the paperwork. Asterisk Harold looked up, eyes tired. Asterisk, you always said you didn't believe in revenge, asterisk, he said. Dana smiled for the first time. Asterisk, I don't, asterisk, she said. Asterisk, I believe in consequences, that asterisk. Ethan strutted into the boardroom like it was a TED talk he hadn't rehearsed for but felt confident he could wing. He wore his trademark half-smirk and a blazer tight enough to signal asterisk thought leader star. Eyes flicking from face to face, looking for a smile. None came. The room was quiet, not tense, not angry, just still, like the space between lightning and thunder. And then he saw her. Dana sat at the far end of the table, calm, unmoved, closed folder in front of her, fingers laced like a courtroom witness who already knew the verdict. She didn't look at him, didn't flinch. Ethan's smirk faltered. He adjusted his collar and cleared his throat. Asterisk, morning, everyone. Excited to share some updates. Asterisk, no need. Asterisk, Janice cut in without looking up from the folder in her lap. Asterisk, we've already had a very enlightening morning. Asterisk, Ethan blinked. Asterisk, sorry. Asterisk, Marta, seated beside her, lifted a page, read aloud. Asterisk, clause 12C. No structural or leadership changes, including termination or reassignment, shall be executed without written consent of Miss Langston if company operations are utilizing intellectual property authored or designed by her during active employment. Asterisk, she paused. Asterisk, which they were. Which they are. Asterisk, next. The board's legal counsel spoke. Asterisk, par discovery. 70% of current freight system operations utilize proprietary code structures built off the Langston Protocol. Attempts to alter this code would require 6 months and full relicensing clearance. Asterisk, Dana still said nothing. Harold sat at the head of the table, eyes forward, hands folded, not defending, not condemning, just watching. Ethan laughed, dry, unconvincing. Asterisk, okay. But look, we all on the same team here. Dana, you could have just talked to me. Didn't need to drag the whole board into. Asterisk, Dana finally moved, slowly, calmly. She opened her folder, slid a flash drive across the polished wood. Asterisk, press play, asterisk, she said. Her voice was quiet, but razor sharp. Marta inserted the drive. The screen behind them flickered on. Footage played, a clean, high-speed walkthrough of the company's freight automation dashboard. Real-time routing, load balance projections, predictive delays, every feature humming like a goddamn Tesla engine. At the bottom right corner, barely visible but permanent, was the watermark. Asterisk, powered by D. Langston IP Holdings. Asterisk, a long silence, the kind that makes careers die. Then the CFO spoke. Asterisk, 3 vendors have already reached out. One is preparing legal action over failure to disclose IP rights in system contracts. If we don't resolve this, we're staring down breach litigation, royalty payouts, and license restructuring at scale. Asterisk, Ethan's jaw twitched. Asterisk, okay, so what? You're siding with her over me. Asterisk, no, asterisk, Janice said. Asterisk, we're siding with the company over the liability. Asterisk, then she turned to Dana. Asterisk, Miss Langston, have your terms changed? Asterisk, Dana nodded once, only in delivery speed. Harold cleared his throat. Asterisk, we've reviewed and approved her reinstatement, pending board sign-off. Effective immediately, she will resume under her new title, Executive Director of Systems Integrity, with independent oversight privileges. Asterisk, the vote passed, unanimous, but Dana didn't reach for the contract. Instead, she stood, adjusted her blazer. Asterisk, I appreciate the offer, asterisk, she said. Asterisk, but I won't be returning. Asterisk, a ripple of surprise. She met Harold's eyes. Asterisk, I already took another meeting. Carrington Freight. They made me an offer I'd be a fool to refuse. Full licensing autonomy. No Langfords involved. Asterisk, Ethan opened his mouth to speak. Dana cut him off with a glance that hit harder than any scream. Then she gathered her folder, walked to the door, and paused. Asterisk, to whoever replaces me, asterisk, she said, not looking back. Asterisk, start by changing the system passwords. I don't trust what's still in his inbox. Asterisk, and with that, she left, calm, complete, untouchable. Ethan slumped into a chair, sweat creeping through his designer collar as the board began quietly discussing interim leadership. No one asked his opinion. They never would again. Big thanks, you legends of the old office days. Subscribe to keep the switch-flicking chaos alive.